Well, sir.
You are Chief Constable Watt, isn't it?
I am, sir.
I want to know what you mean, sir, by persecuting me. Answer me.
Why, my dear sir, nobody's persecuting you.
You have appeared at my office in my absence making inquiries which I am resenting very much indeed, and I demand that they be stopped.
My dear man.
I am a reputable doctor, sir, a surgeon. I will not have policemen coming to my office.
I came to your home, sir.
It is also my office and surgery. You are thinking that I have some guilty knowledge of my wife's whereabouts, and that little Rundy, her maid, isn't it?
There's no call to be quite so belligerent, Dr.
I
Hakim.
shall be as belligerent as I please, sir, when my rights are invaded.
Now, look here, Dr. Hakim. I am not going to be put on the defensive by you at all. You may as well understand that. Now, I'm sure that you're aware that I'm following up a legitimate inquiry concerning the whereabouts of your maid, Maggie
You
Robinson.
have no right to question my servants.
My dear sir, I have a right to question anyone who might be able to contribute information.
You know that Mrs. Musical talk.
I am not acquainted with Mrs. Music's proclivities, sir. Now that you are here in my office, I ask you what information you can give me about the Rowlandson woman.
I can give you none. She accompanied my wife to Glasgow. Probably she is still there with her.
I thought you said that your wife went to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, I mean. I can't keep these stupid Scottish, the English, these Scottish, I can't remember them.
I see. Has your wife left you, Doctor?
I will not tell you.
You have a reason for refusing to answer, I take it.
I have. You will be telling it all over the city, and my practice will be ruined. I know how you police operate. I don't trust you.
That's a very extraordinary attitude to take,
It is
Doctor.
the attitude which I choose to take. You will stop meddling with my affairs, sir.
Look here, Dr. Hakim. Dr. Hakim, I have no interest for the moment in the reasons for your wife's having left you, but...
I'll tell you why she left me. She left me for another man.
I said I have no interest in her reasons, sir, at the moment.
I'm being disgraced. I am being ruined by this scandal. My practice, I should be ruined. And now you please come around so that all the neighbors may see. It is inexcusable.
Oh, control yourself, sir. I'm interested in finding Maggie Rowlandson for her parents.
She is with my wife in Glasgow, Edinburgh.
Is she?
Of course I told you so. Now, will you do something to end this persecution?
I've told you there is no persecution, Doctor.
Will you put a notice in the papers that I had nothing to do with my wife's leaving me? Will you swear?
You're being silly, Doctor.
No, you are ruining my practice.
I don't believe so,
I
Doctor.
demand that you give out a statement to the public that I know nothing at all about this.
Except that you know where your wife and Miss Rowlandson are.
Will you give me a statement, sir?
Dr. Hakim, when I'm thoroughly convinced that you have no connection with either your wife's going away nor of Miss Rowlandson's unexplained departure...
I had nothing to do with either of them. My wife left me and took Maggie with her.
When I'm thoroughly convinced of that, Doctor, I'll be glad to say so to any of your patients, present or prospective, that you care to send me.
How dare
Until then, if I need you, I shall send for you. Good day, sir.
You are persecuting me because I'm an Indian, isn't it?
You are being offensive, sir.
You think you are a great big superior Englishman and so on.
Yes,
Therefore,
sir.
you can say... What do you want?
Sergeant, show Dr. Hakim the exit, please.
Yes, sir. Will you come this way?
I will not come this way. I want justice. I will stay here until... All right. I'm coming. You're bigger than I am. You're English. You're
Exit's
fully...
this way, sir.
Ratty little brute. Oh, hello. Put me through to Sergeant Barnes over in Moffat in Dumfriesshire, if you please. Quite. Dumfriesshire is in Scotland. Right.
He's gone, sir. Oh, excuse me, sir. I had this express message for you when you rang for me. Yeah, from Edinburgh.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'll wait. Edinburgh.
Barnes here.
Oh, Sergeant Barnes, Watt here. I was just calling to tell you that... First, though, have you heard anything more in the way of clues? You were starting to tell me...
Just that we found that one of the pieces of the body, sir, was wrapped up in a pair of child's rompers, sir.
Rompers?
Yes, sir. The other parts were wrapped up in old papers, old rags, a bit of sheeting. But this, it appears to be a part of a left leg, was wrapped up in these kids' rompers. That's all. So if that'll help, what did you find out, sir?
Well, I had this chap in here, and a remarkably unpleasant little man. He confirms that both of our so-called missing women are safe in Edinburgh. So I'm afraid that your Lancaster theory rather collapses.
Oh, that's too bad, sir. I had great hopes of you taking this off our hands.
No, I think not. As a matter of fact, I've just had an express message from the Edinburgh Police. I'll read it to you. Half a sec. Chief Constable, etc., that's me.
What did they say, sir?
Well, I'm afraid I gave it back rather too quickly, Sergeant.
You what, sir?
Here's the message from Edinburgh. Subject person has been contacted. Says has not seen subject of inquiry, Mrs. Hakim, since last New Year's Day in Lancaster. Has never seen subject Maggie Rowlinson. Hodson,
Oh, that's
Edinburgh
fine.
Police. What'd you say, Sergeant?
I said, I wish you luck, sir.
It was raining quite hard when I arrived, full of beans, at the door of number 2 Dalton Square to demand explanations from the little doctor. I thumped the door vigorously, and after a suitable period of time, it opened.
The doctor, I did. Oh, it's you, Constable.
Where is he, Mrs. Musing?
Out, sir. Calling on patients. He certainly did give me what for.
May I come in out of the rain, please?
Oh, if you must,
Thank
sir. Wipe your boots on the mat. It's mucky enough in here anyways, though Lord knows I try to keep it tidy. What do you want now? She ain't here. Neither one of them's here.
Neither Mrs. Hakim nor Maggie, what's her name, Rowlinson?
Nor the doctor. Now, what did you want, sir? He ain't here.
Very important that I see him. Where do you expect I might find him? Or when will he be back?
That's the way I got into trouble the other day, answering questions.
Now, look here, Mrs. Music.
He says it ain't good for business. He said if I'd done it again, I'd lose my situation, and I'm not going to lose my situation.
If you'll just tell me when the doctor will be back, Mrs. Music.
He'll be back tonight. He's going to have tea with the children.
What children?
Oh, no, lummy how it's raining. Well, that'll be good for the carpets.
Carpets.
Oh, now, you do ask questions, don't you?
What children?
The doctors. They're staying with Dr. Mattoon and his wife since the missus went away. That's why the carpets are soaking in the rain.
Mrs. Music, will you please...
To wash the blood out of them.
What blood?
It's been on them ever since the day she went away, and I don't know any way to get it out, so I'm soaking them in the rain. And...
Whose blood? Whose blood is it, I mean?
There was blood all over the surgery and on the stair carpet. You helped me with the stair carpet yesterday, for which I thank you, sir.
Whose blood?
Huh? Oh, blood ain't no treat around here, sir. The doctor's always cutting people up, committing operations and all.
Whose blood, I say?
Oh, you needn't yell at me. I can hear all right. Why, his, of course.
His? The doctor's?
Of course.
How did his blood get on...
When I come to work that Monday morning, he told me the missus had run away from him, so he took the kids to stay with Mrs. Mattoon, like I said before. And when he come back, he tried to open a tin of peaches for his breakfast, and he cut his hand dreadful on the tin opener. Didn't you see he was still bandaged up?
Yes.
There was blood every place in the house. On the rug, on his waistcoat.
He bled a lot.
Well, you wouldn't think one person could bleed so much and still walk about.
Who dressed his hand?
He dressed it himself. Wouldn't even let me put Zambuk on it. He's very accomplished, sir. Oh, dear me.
What's the matter?
Oh, I knowed he'd forget to take them. You see?
What are those things?
Oh, I told him he'd forget them. Now, what are those poor kiddies going to do with them?
What are they?
Rompers. Don't you recognize rompers? Haven't you got any kiddies? I told him to take them.
Whose are they?
All except that one pair that belonged to young Alan. I don't know how anybody could lose a pair of rompers.
Is there a telephone here, Mrs. Music?
In the surgery there, but I'm not sure the doctor
There's £50. Say nothing about it.
Oh, Bar Music, that red bow tie he's been wanting.
In here, Mrs. Music?
It's his birthday Wednesday. What'd you say? Oh, yes, it's in there, sir. Thank you.
One more question, Mrs. Music. What color hair did Maggie Rowlinson have?
Had, sir? Well, she's got ginger hair. Real bright red.
Thank you, Mrs. Music. This is Chief Constable Watt. Put me through to Sergeant Barnes at the Moffat Police Station. Quickly, do you hear? was 8 o'clock in the evening when Sergeant Barnes arrived at 2 Dalton Place. I'd urged Mrs. Music to wait. Come in, Barnes, I said. Did you bring them?
Yes, sir. They're right here.
What on earth?
Know what these are, Mrs. Music?
Well, of course I do. Where'd you get them all bloody like this? Ugh. Is there blood on everything?
What are they?
Why, they're little Alan's rompers that was lost.
How do you know?
Well, right there. The patch I sewed on myself out of Music Sanderson gingham shirt. Of course I know. Where'd you get them?
Why, Miss Maggie Rowlandson had them.
Oh, well, there's the doctor. At last. You gentlemen, you can...
Mrs. Music, are you here?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
I'm here also, Dr. Hakim.
Now, what are you wanting in my house?
I want to see you, sir.
And may I know who you are, please?
I'm Sergeant Barnes of the Dumfriesshire Constabulary, sir. I want to see you, too.
Now, look here. What is this?
They found little Alan's rompers that was lost, Doctor. Aren't you glad?
No, I don't think he's very glad, Mrs. Music. Doctor, may I look at that bandaged hand where you cut it on the tin opener and where you bled so profusely?
Stand away from me. Stand away from me, I tell you.
Hold his hand, Barnes.
Yes, sir.
No, don't touch my hand. Let go.
I'll be quite gentle, Doctor, but I've got to get that bandage off. There's no blood here. Now, there. Look, Barnes.
Yes, sir.
What? Let me see. Why, there ain't any cut on that hand. Well, where did all the blood come from, then?
Yes, Doctor. Where did all the blood come from? Johanga Sorabi Hakim, alias Dr. John Hakim, I arrest you for the murder of your common law wife and of Maggie Rowlandson. And I warn you that anything you say will be taken down in writing and may be used in evidence. He admitted it, finally. He had murdered his wife in a fit of insane rage when he discovered that she had met, quite innocently, incidentally, the man of whom he was insanely jealous, though without any cause whatever. The maid, Maggie Rowlandson, was killed in an attempt to defend her mistress. In one day, the murders had been committed on Saturday night. He had dissected the bodies, removed all means of identification, and at night had scattered the neatly wrapped parcels containing the bodies from the bridge on the Edinburgh Road. The 2 professors from the university were able to reassemble the mangled bits to such an extent that there was no question of their identity at last. Dr. Hakim, which was not his name, was tried for murder at Manchester Assizes and found guilty. He was hanged at Strangeways Prison 3 weeks later. Same hangman who works for Scotland Yard officiated.
Heard in the order of their appearance on Whitehall 1212 today were Harvey Hayes, Horace Braham, Pat O'Malley, Lester Fletcher, Patricia Courtley, and Morris Delamore. Lionel Rico speaking. Whitehall 1212 is written and directed by Willis Cooper. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
That's Whitehall 1212 from May 25th, 1952, with the case of Maggie Rowlandson. And Willis Cooper produced that, directed it, and created it. And it's heard on NBC.
You know, I had a couple people text in and ask me what a romper is.
Yeah, it's
a
like
romper. Little kids, like a one-piece.
Sleepy, right? You sleep in it, like, right?
Well, you could.
Kid sleeps in
but
it.
You could go out in a romper, just like a one-piece, like
Remember
shorts
Romper
and a top.
Room?
Romper Room. I see Lisa.
I see Carl. I see Shante.
I see a magic mirror. Of course, it's Romper Room.
Don't forget 5 free classic radio shows. We have Suspense, Jack Benny, Gunsmoke, Richard Diamond, Private Detective, Fibber McGee and Molly. Complete shows, 30-minute episodes at 100radioshows.com. They're yours free as a thank you for listening to the show. And if there's anything there you want to purchase, because there's hundreds of other shows available for purchase, use the promo code RADIO at checkout. Save 70%. That's also a thank you for listening to this radio show. In our next hour, it's the lives of Harry Lime. Orson Welles, Lisa. Remember? You know,